writer.
But the winner is Guy Burt for Harriet's Army.
Well, in 1914, Britain went to war, and among the first people to volunteer their services for their country were children. Telling a little bit of the story of what the Scouts and Guides did in Harriet's Army has been a tremendous privilege and a huge amount of fun. And I'd like to thank my lovely producers, Foss Allen and Anna Davis, and also my wife, John, and my two kids, Alex and Lucas, for whom the story was really written. Thank you very much indeed for this.
Guy, first off, massive congratulations,
Well
Best
done.
Writer.
I am extremely pleased.
You
I
should
mean,
be.
kind of painfully pleased.
Where did the inspiration for Harriet's Army come from?
The brief came from CBBC, who wanted a story about children in the First World War. And my immediate reaction was, well, there wasn't really any children's involvement in the First World War, was there? I mean, we know about the Blitz and people being shipped out in the Second World War. We know about Goodnight, Mr. Tom and that sort of thing. So for me, it was a bit of a journey of discovery, realizing that Scouts and Guides really did get involved. They volunteered their services to government the moment that war broke out, and 4 hours later the government got back to them and said, yes, please, and put them in charge of guarding railway depots and sidings and patrolling the coast, looking for enemy cruisers and things like that. So the story snowballed from there. And of course, our central character in the story is not a typical girl guide. She's a bit of a rebel, and she gets kicked out for fighting. So,
Once you'd cast all the parts, did the story change at all?
not particularly. And that does happen sometimes with drama, when you realise that you've got somebody whose forte is one particular thing, and you start to write to that person. But in the case of this particular show, it didn't change much, actually, from the sort of shooting draft through. It stayed pretty set.
And when people talk about seeing a film that's based on a book, they often say, it wasn't how I imagined it. Was it how you imagined it?
This is a really weird one for a writer, because you always have a picture in your head of the characters, you've got a picture in your head of exactly how events are playing out, and then when it happens, it can either be better than you imagined, or it can be a bit of a letdown. So
Right.
you're on tenterhooks to find out which way it goes. In this case, it really worked. I was thrilled with the way it turned out. I thought that the people who were acting did fantastic jobs, and the direction was very cool. It was, obviously it's a period piece, so you're trying to make that world interesting and accessible and fun.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
And what have you got coming up next?
Stuff for grown-ups.
Ah.
Also, possibly maybe another something for CBBC. I mean, that's very early stages, so I can't talk
So
about it.
watch
but
this
Yeah,
space, is
absolutely.
it?
watch this space. The next thing that you might be able to watch if you're kind of 12-ish will be Tutankhamun on ITV, which is the story of Howard Carter discovering the tomb.
Oh.
And that should be really good. But
Well,
watch this space.
congratulations.
And in
on
2 years'
Harriet's
time,
Army
Guy,
success.
we might be sat here interviewing you again.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I'm up for that. I mean, I quite like the sofa. So.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Booing.
Oh, not Ian
booing us.
Oh, Ian Sterling's just skate crashing. Oh, your turn yet, Ian.
Uh-oh, rivals, watch out.
He's going to win.
It's all mine, Jane.
Do you get to input into the script at all and add some jokes if you think of some?
Yeah, I mean, we do, with apologies to the writers, we do occasionally go off and riff and improvise stuff, mainly to make each other laugh more than whether it gets in the show or not, I don't know.